Well, Ryan, also the weather this weekend has just been incredible for so many different reasons. Some scary, some really good things like some of the snow that we're seeing.
Yeah, some beneficial rainfall and also beneficial snowfall, but for others like Roswell, this storm system has turned deadly. This is a live look at Roswell right now. Earlier this morning, we had roadways covered in water. Now we're starting to see less of that, some cars passing on through. Earlier, we had the National Guard passing on through this intersection near Veterans Memorial Park. Still a little bit dreary out there. Air temperature right now in Roswell, 63 degrees, 11-mile-per-hour wind, 49 inches of rainfall in Roswell overnight, really the past 24 hours, but most of that overnight. And still a bit wet on the roadways, so something we'll keep an eye on, the potential for more rain, but also severe weather, hail, strong winds, and even a couple tornadoes as a possibility. A 2 out of 5 risk of severe weather, that slight risk from the Northeast Highlands all the way to Roswell, issued by the Storm Prediction Center, something we'll really keep an eye on. So yeah, a very active stormy pattern with most of the rain now north of Roswell, more showers near Raton, some mountain snow in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, so beneficial precipitation, of course, there, and some lightning strikes near Farmington and Durango, Cortez as well. That upper level low spinning moving a little bit farther to the east. Flood warnings in effect for much of the Roswell area. Now, this flash flood warning in effect until Wednesday, that just basically means that it's until further notice because of the very dangerous situation. A flood watch for much of the Northeast Highlands from the Sangre de Cristo Mountains to Chaves County to the Northeast Highlands in Union County. That's in effect until tonight. And again, until further notice, because of 4 to 9 inches of rainfall, Roswell, the immediate Roswell area, you guys are under a flash flood warning. But in the mountains of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, especially though in the San Juan Mountains, more snow above 8,500 feet, especially in the San Juan Mountains where there's a winter storm warning in effect. And again, for the northern Sangre de Cristo Mountains, at least a couple more inches of snow, generally above 11,000 feet. So snow in the mountains, rain in the valley locations out east. It's mostly a rain event. Some slippery travel from the Raton Pass all the way to Las Vegas. From the Bobcat Pass in Taos all the way to the Continental Divide, some snow on the ground, but especially there in the Bobcat Pass. Some really heavy snow in the high elevations. So again, this is what I'm talking about. Milder, more humid out east. Cooler and drier out west, relatively mild though in the Albuquerque metro, 58, 50 Santa Fe, 38 Alamosa, upper 20s, low 30s in the mountains, and far to the south, Roswell, Hobbs, and Carlsbad, sitting around 63 degrees respectively and warming up generally in the high 40s and 50s in northern areas, 60s, 70s, and low 80s from Albuquerque to the south. I think this model is slightly underestimating how warm we may be in Albuquerque. I think we'll sneak in right around the 72-degree mark, slightly above normal temperatures today. Still the possibility of some rain in breezy conditions, but a little bit warmer, a little bit less humid. Most of the rain from the Sandias with that afternoon, daytime heating, producing some storms, capable of producing more hail, strong winds, and a couple of spin-up tornadoes along I-40 this evening. Will be a treacherous go, and more mountain snow with the upper level low moving closer to the Four Corners. And speaking of precipitation, at least several more tenths of an inch of it from Santa Rosa to Clayton and Tucumcari, and at least a few more tenths of it of rain precipitation in Durango, but equivalent to at least a few more inches of snow in the San Juan Mountains. So Durango, 50s today, but 60s and eventually 70s later this week. Pagosa Springs, 50 today. Still chilly overnight lows and morning temperatures ahead despite the drier, sunnier, and warmer afternoons to come. Farmington to Chinle and Cuba, a slight chance of storms today, but drying out later today. Temperatures eventually warming back up to above normal, especially later this week. Las Cruces, Alamogordo, well into the 80s later this week. Camado, 50s today. So widely sporadic temperatures across our viewing area from Hobbs, Carlsbad to Carrizoso, Cloudcroft, and Ruidoso, ranging from the 50s to the low 80s. From Clayton all the way to Las Vegas and more 40s to the low 70s. Breezy conditions with some of the storms today. Red River, Angel Fire to Santa Fe. High 30s, 40s, 50s, and low 60s, especially colder air up, of course, to the mountains from Mayority to Harris, Cedar Crest. A rain event with even some storms. From the north to south valley of Albuquerque, a bit of a breezy day, 60s, 70s, and eventually later this week, maybe in the low 80s. So one more day of precipitation, pretty widespread across really the northeastern 2/3 of our viewing area, but much more pleasant weather later this week. And as Zoe Mintz likes to say, a former meteorologist, our webcam is looking like a smothered burrito over the San Dias with the clouds. Gabe?
Thanks, Ryan. Stick around. We'll be right back.